You're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. GLP-1 is rapidly becoming a buzzword in the health and wellness world, especially due to its role in weight loss and blood sugar control. Whether you're managing diabetes, looking to shed a few pounds, or simply optimizing your health, understanding GLP-1 could be a game changer. So today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this hormone, including how it works, the benefits, risks, and natural ways to boost it. Hey guys, I want to give every one of you a gift, so listen up. Many of you know that I created my own digestive support protein powder designed to aid in gut health and specifically formulated for those with sensitive tummies. I created this back in 2018, and since then, it's helped thousands of you with digestive issues and given relief. All that positive feedback has encouraged me to expand the Bethany's Pantry line with 3 different flavors, a protein bake, and L-glutamine powder to help heal and seal the gut lining. So as a thank you for being a podcast listener, I want to give you $10 off anything from my digestive support line. You can use this $10 discount on any flavor of protein bake, or digestive aid such as L-glutamine. The one-time code podcast10 will give you $10 off. Whether you're a regular consumer or have never tried but wanted to, anyone can use this code one time as a gift from me. Oh, and a little side note, because we source our pea protein from Europe, I can assure you it's not sprayed with glyphosate because it's actually illegal in Europe to spray pea crops with such chemicals. Europe's standards and regulations on growing crops are far superior than American standards, and that's why I am proud to use such a source for my clean, easy to digest, lectin-free protein powder. Go to bethanysPantry.com, which is our new website, and use the code podcast10 for $10 off anything. Again, bethanysPantry.com, and then go and use the podcast 10 code and you'll get $10 off. All right, so let's first talk about what GLP-1 is. So it's actually a hormone produced in the intestines in response to food intake, and it plays a key role in regulating blood sugar levels by stimulating insulin secretion, inhibiting GLP-1 release, which is essentially the slowing of gastric emptying and creating a feeling of fullness. These effects make GLP-1 a powerful tool in managing type 2 diabetes and supporting weight loss. Several factors affect GLP-1 secretion, including your diet, obviously. High fiber foods and healthy fats can enhance GLP-1 release. Regular exercise or just physical activity in general can also help improve GLP-1 sensitivity. Poor sleep can disrupt hormone regulation. And since GLP-1 is a hormone, poor sleep can obviously alter this. And this is obviously going to promote weight gain. And then lastly, but certainly not least, our gut microbiome. So if you have a healthy gut flora, it can then support optimal production of GLP-1. So these GLP-1 receptor medications are designed to mimic the effects of the natural GLP-1 our bodies already produce, or at least are supposed to be producing. These medications bind to GLP-1 receptors in the body to help regulate blood sugar and appetite. These drugs are commonly prescribed for type 2 diabetes and have gained popularity for their weight loss benefits. And now pharmaceutical companies are handing them out like candy, but the side effects of these drugs may not be worth it. So let's talk about the risks and interactions. So some side effects of GLP-1 drugs include nausea and vomiting, diarrhea or constipation, headaches, fatigue, hypoglycemia, bone loss or reduced bone mineral density, which can then lead to osteoporosis and increased fracture risk, potential thyroid tumors, pancreatitis, and this is inflammation of the pancreas, which can cause severe abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting. Gallbladder problems have been reported. These medications can affect gallbladder function. And then that can potentially lead to gallstones or other issues. Kidney problems have been reported. In rare cases, these medications, I should say, because now there's like multiple brands, etc. They've been associated with kidney damage, particularly in those with pre-existing kidney issues. Vision changes. So there's also been reports of potential eye-related complications, including the vision change, of course, but other eye-related complications. And then also neuropsychiatric effects. These include mood changes, increased anxiety or depression, and there's many other side effects that people aren't even reporting. These are just the more commonly well-known ones. Now, taking these kinds of medications can also may interact. I don't want to say they will, but they may interact with other medications that you're currently taking, and that can be sometimes detrimental. So you really want to be cautious when you're incorporating these types of drugs. Now, weight loss isn't the only reason GLP-1 is becoming popular and obviously more known about. So I want to talk about some of the benefits, because there are benefits to this, but I think that we can achieve these benefits through natural ways and natural sources, which I'll get into in a second. But I do want to talk about the benefits first. So research conducted on humans have demonstrated that GLP-1 and its analogs can significantly improve blood sugar control through various mechanisms. There was a study involving healthy individuals, and they found that this hormone not only stimulated insulin release, but also increased insulin independent glucose disposal. Research involving individuals with type 1 diabetes demonstrated that this peptide led to suppressed levels without increasing the risk of hypoglycemia. So that's very important, you guys. This suggests that this hormone can aid in glycemic control. And there are several other studies I won't mention here, which you can look up, but they all collectively underscore the multifaceted role of this hormone in enhancing blood sugar regulation through mechanisms such as stimulating insulin secretion, delaying gastric emptying, and improving insulin sensitivity. Now, I do want to note that delaying gastric emptying can sometimes be a good thing, but also it can sometimes be a bad thing. If it is too far into delayed, the food can actually rot in your stomach and you can develop gastroparesis. So that is like the extreme case, which is actually what I had like over a decade ago, is where your food just sits there and rots. So you really don't want that. And you never feel hungry. You're always feeling full. And that's not a good thing either. And I think that's a huge takeaway, is that there's so many people out there that are constantly feeling hungry. They're constantly never satisfied. They're never full. So they want that delay in gastric emptying. But on the other side of the spectrum, you want your gastric, you want the food in your stomach to actually move through, because then it's going to sit there and rot and it's going to cause other complications, which I have actually experienced. And it is not fun, you guys. All right. So obviously, weight loss is a huge, I want to say, quote, benefit or side effect from these GLP-1 drugs. Research involving human participants have demonstrated that these peptide receptors, these agonists, I guess, can contribute to weight loss and appetite suppression through multiple mechanisms. And honestly, I feel like appetite suppression is not a good thing. I have something in my gut that, listen to your gut, right, you guys? I feel like I have something in my core gut that tells me suppressing your appetite is not a good thing. Like, if your body is hungry, that is a sign, okay? Obviously, I think that if you are eating uncontrollably, I think that is more of a mental thing happening where maybe you're bored, maybe you just, it's more emotional, like emotional eating and things like that. Because if you are truly, truly hungry, you really have to ask yourself, why am I eating this? So if you're truly hungry, you're going to have these hunger pains. But if you're just grabbing something from the fridge and you're not hungry, like think about it for a second and ask yourself why you're doing this. Most likely it's because you're bored. I've been there, trust me. And it's something to do. It's an emotional thing. So that's my take. And I just feel like suppressing your appetite is just not a good thing. And as we get older, I feel like our appetite decreases anyways. So again, that's not really good and your metabolism slows down. And so I really think this is messing with people's metabolism, in my personal opinion. Now, again, I do want to go back to the benefits here because there are some, but again, I want to talk, these are benefits that this natural hormone we produce offers us, not the benefits of these drugs. And even though these drugs do offer the benefits, but again, I want to go into how we can do this naturally by the foods we eat and things we do. But the GLP-1 receptors, these can significantly reduce the risk of cardiovascular events in certain populations. Because there was one randomized study, and it was in 2021, and they found that it can reduce major adverse cardiovascular events, including cardiovascular death, non-fatal myocarditis infections, and non-fatal stroke by 13% compared to a placebo in patients with type 2 diabetes at high cardiovascular risk. Now, 13% may seem like a very small percentage, but I think that it is definitely something to pay attention to. Now, there was another trial that the semaglutide demonstrated a 26% reduction in major adverse cardiovascular events in patients with type 2 diabetes at high cardiovascular risk. Now, this is a separate study, mind you. Meanwhile, in a broader population study, including individuals without established cardiovascular disease, now this glutide reduced major adverse cardiovascular events by 12%. So taking that into consideration, one more benefit is this peptide can reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. So scientific research involving human participants has revealed that the GLP-1 receptor agonist can reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, contributing to their therapeutic benefits beyond glycemic control. A comprehensive review of clinical studies indicated that GLP-1, this significantly helped with inflammatory disease and different antioxidant effects in humans. So thinking about all of the benefits here, I want everyone to really try and get these GLP-1 receptors and wake up these hormones naturally. And there's plenty of ways to do that. And we've been doing it for years. And honestly, as I was doing the research for this, I'm looking at all the natural ways that we can help our GLP-1 receptors in our body. And I've been doing them for years, not even knowing what I was doing. It was just something I did out of a health habit. So I'm going to share some of the things that I have been doing that I had no idea was contributing to GLP-1 in my body. All right. So let's talk about the boosting GLP-1 naturally. Okay. So first talk about diet and eating fiber-rich foods like vegetables, legumes, and oats. These things can really help. I actually don't eat high fiber foods, so that's something I don't do. But if you do eat a lot of vegetables or legumes or oats, which I don't eat hardly any of that, but that could be good for you depending on how your body processes them. Incorporating healthy fats can help. That's including obviously avocados, nuts, olive oil, which I love. Engaging in regular exercise, obviously, and optimizing gut health with probiotics and prebiotics. Okay, so I want to go into that a little bit more later. But sleeping well, obviously, as I previously mentioned, poor sleep can hinder this. So the foods particularly that boost GLP-1, these, as I mentioned, fiber-rich foods, because fiber slows down digestion and promotes gut hormone release, including the GLP-1. If I were you, if you do eat oats, I don't really eat oats on a very rare occasion, but barley, legumes, beans and lentils can help. Apples, pears, and berries. I eat apples, pears, and berries all the time. Leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts. I don't eat kale personally. I don't think it's good for you. But the research says kale, I think you can get it through other ways. I personally, my favorite cruciferous vegetable is actually cauliflower. You guys know the routine. I steam it, then I freeze it, then I put it in my smoothies. I've been doing that for years. Cauliflower, when you steam it, you can digest it so much easier. And it still has the fiber, it still has all of the benefits, and also more bioavailability when it is steamed. Eating fermented foods can be very helpful. Obviously, fermented foods can help the gut microbiome and support this peptide signaling, just all of the things that wake up that GLP-1 in your body. Yogurt, I eat yogurt like nobody's business. I have probably at least 2 cups a day. And kefir, that could be very helpful as well. I don't drink kefir a lot. I just opt for the yogurt. I like to eat instead of drink, I guess, but to each his own. Sauerkraut, kimchi, those are other great fermented foods. If you feel like you get bloated or gassy with kimchi or sauerkraut, don't think that that's the only option. There's plenty of others. I feel like yogurt is the best fermented food out there. I don't tend to do a lot of dairy, but if it's fermented dairy like yogurt, I do well with. I don't eat a lot of cheese. You may see me sharing and posting like cheesy recipes on my Instagram or on my blog. Most likely, it's just because my husband loves it and I make it for him, and I have no beef like against it. If you want to eat grass-fed good cheese and if you can tolerate it, fine. I think my body just doesn't. So anyways, healthy fats, as I mentioned, avocados, not just olive oil, but olives. I have been I don't want to say slowly, but I have been migrating towards getting my fats from whole food sources instead of oils. I'm not against olive oil. I cook with it. But I have been more conscious of how I am consuming fats. And so instead of olive oil, I would actually opt for olives, like the whole olive, because that is where the oil comes from essentially. And instead of avocado oil, opt for avocados instead. It's less concentrated. Like the oil is so concentrated and calorie dense that if you are trying to lose weight, I think that oil can be a very sneaky ingredient and you can consume a lot more than you realize. So instead of the oils, opt for the whole food fat. Instead of like nut butters, eat whole nuts, because you'd be surprised how much is in 1 tablespoon of nut butter versus just the whole nut. So again, just examples of eating the whole food fat instead of the extracted oil. Now, protein-rich foods. Protein increases levels of this hormone. And so if you try and incorporate protein into every meal you eat, and don't hold back, you guys, I think that's why protein is really having a moment here, because what many people may not realize is that high protein diets can naturally act like Ozempic. And I have been eating, I don't know how much, I want to guess maybe 100 grams of protein a day, because I add a lot of protein powder to my smoothies, obviously getting it from Whole Foods. And Greek yogurt, again, high in protein. So it's very easy for me, at least, to get a lot of protein in. Dark chocolate, So all my chocolate lovers, listen up. So cacao flavonoids may enhance GLP-1 activity. So this has been proven. Now, choose at least 70% cacao. It's actually embarrassing how much chocolate I personally consume on a daily basis. Of course, 100% no sugar added is what I always consume. I mean, I'll have some sweetened stuff here and there. I love Hue Kitchen, and I love like some other brands, but I always have been eating 100% no sugar added, one ingredient chocolate. And I think it's a huge misconception for many. Like when I tell them I eat 1 cup of pure chocolate a day, and I'm not exaggerating here, I've been eating like 1 cup of pure chocolate a day. They look at me like I am a crazy person, and they probably think I'm lying honestly. But I've been doing this for years with just pure 100% unsweetened cacao mass. And of course, I'm not eating a cup in an entire sitting, but throughout the day, at the end of the day, it's like a cup. And so again, there's no sugar in it. So it's full of antioxidants, again, healthy fats. Bitter foods can be a good GLP-1 stimulator. So bitter foods may include arugula, dandelion greens. Those are just a few examples. Dandelion greens are also very helpful for your gut overall. So if you see dandelion greens, like we were at our previous house, we were actually growing weeds, and a lot of them were just like dandelion greens. And so we picked them because we don't spray chemicals or anything. And so we picked them, they were fresh, and we ate some, and they were really delicious in a salad. It's like the few times that I'll eat a salad. Now, many herbs and spices can also naturally stimulate gut hormones. Now, these include specifically turmeric, which contains curcumin, ginger, cinnamon. Those are all great. Garlic and black pepper. If you can tolerate garlic, a lot of people can't. But again, there's other options there. Typically, a lot of people can tolerate ginger and turmeric. Turmeric is a very mild spice, I feel like, unless you're adding tons. Just be careful because we all know it stains. Now, I want to talk about supplements for a second. So berberine. Now, this supports blood sugar regulation, and it's been proven to help increase the GLP-1 via the gut microbiome modulation. Curcumin, as I just previously mentioned with the spices, they also have pills. So curcumin pills or turmeric pills, it's anti-inflammatory, and it may enhance GLP-1 levels and insulin sensitivity. So if you don't like the taste of turmeric, they do have capsule form. Now, eating prebiotics, not but prebiotics. When you do this, that feeds beneficial gut bacteria that influence GLP-1 production. So some examples of prebiotics are green, unripe bananas, onions, garlic, leeks, artichokes, and even starches such as potatoes and white rice, but only if you cook them, then cool them down in the refrigerator. So the cooling process actually changes the chemical structure of the starch, and they become resistant starch and feed the good bacteria in your gut. Now, when it's resistant starch, it is lower in carbs technically. It's not going to show, it's going to have the same carb count, but the chemical structure does change. And when it becomes resistant starch, there is less carbs, and it's more food for your gut bacteria versus storing as a carb. So that's a fun little fact. Probiotics. Okay, now I'm talking about probiotics. So we all pretty much know that probiotics can help improve the gut flora, and they can help the GLP-1 secretion, particularly probiotics, lactobacillus, and bifidobacterium strains, which are commonly found in Greek yogurt. So I eat so much Greek yogurt, you guys, it's ridiculous. Now, you can also consume alpha lipoic acid. It's also known as ALA. This is an antioxidant that may improve glucose metabolism and enhance GLP-1 responsiveness. You can get this as a supplement form, or you can just eat the foods that are high in ALA. So foods rich in high ALA are, there's a lot of vegetables. So Brussels sprouts, spinach, peas, broccoli, carrots, potatoes, beets, and yams. Those are all great sources. Even red meat and organ meats like liver, heart, and kidney. Other sources of ALA, walnuts, in fact. Rice bran, but I wouldn't really personally eat that, but to each his own. Even protein powders. So these proteins stimulate GLP-1 release and promote satiety when taken with meals or smoothies. So shameless plug, I think my protein powder at Bethany's Pantry is an amazing addition. I eat it all the time. It's great in smoothies. I personally just love eating it as like a little dessert with the protein fluff. You guys know the drill. Just add a little bit of water and it makes this pudding-like consistency. So check out Bethany's Pantry if you haven't. It's my protein powder line. There's no gums, there's no stevia, no monk fruit. I'm just not a fan of either of those sweeteners. They give me headaches, they give me gut issues. And so my protein is very, very clean. There's no glyphosate residue. And I think that you're gonna love it. And I think your gut is gonna love it even more. Last but not least, ginseng. So this is a traditional herb that may boost GLP-1 and improve blood sugar response, especially in Korean and American ginseng varieties, because there's different varieties. So you want to get the either Korean or the American kind. Now, of course, I would not close this episode without talking about lifestyle changes and strategies, because your daily habits and behavior play a huge role in hormone balance. So how to support these GLP-1 receptors through lifestyle here is obviously, I mentioned exercising regularly. So physical activity improves insulin sensitivity and increases GLP-1. So try to incorporate, honestly, I don't want to say any kind, I don't want to say a particular one, because if you are moving, that's good enough. Like, I want you to do something that you're going to love, because what you're going to stick to are things that you're going to love. So find something you enjoy and keep doing it. Okay? Because if you hate swimming or if you hate biking, like, you're not going to stick with it. Find something that you really love, or find a partner to do it with. Weightlifting, resistance training is so good for you. If you don't enjoy it, guess what? Like, you can, I think there's some controversy here, but I'm going to go there. You can gain muscle, because I have, without weights at all. And that's doing yoga and Pilates, because in yoga and Pilates, you are lifting your own body weight. So let's just say you weigh 100 pounds. And most people weigh more than 100, but let's just say you weigh 100. You're lifting your own body weight. So you're lifting 100 pounds. Like, that's a lot. So doing that, I think, is great. It's a great start, at least. So try that. Obviously, prioritize sleep, manage stress. And of course, you're like, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say to just manage stress. And trust me, I'm preaching to I'm preaching to my own self right here. But find ways where you can just de-stress. And I think, for me at least, stop caring what other people think. Stop holding yourself to so many expectations, because that can really be stressful. And if you don't put, I guess, don't make your schedule so frantic, and just stop caring what other people think, and just do what you initially want to do, and just block out the noise. You have to, because there's so many people in this world. They're going to have their own opinion. They're going to think they're right. And that has helped my stress tremendously. And guess what? If you're late, fine. If you miss a meeting, guess what? It's not the end of the world. All right. And then last but not least, consider intermittent fasting. I have been doing this unawarely. That's not even a word. I've been doing this unknowingly for years. Before intermittent fasting was even a thing, or people knew what it was, I just naturally was doing it because I wasn't hungry in the mornings. So I would just like have something to drink in the morning, and then like my first meal of the day would be like around noontime. But short-term fasting may enhance the GLP-1 peptide, and then it helps release and improve insulin sensitivity. So there's different ways to approach this. You can do the 16-8 fasting, the 12-12 fasting. I think that's a great starting point, is just, for example, if you eat breakfast at 8 a.m., then you want to stop eating at 8 p.m. That's very easy to do. But if you eat breakfast at 7 a.m., stop eating at 6 p.m. That's actually a 13-hour window of that you're fasting. You may even want to go more intense. If you want to have your first meal of the day at 11 a.m. and then your last meal of the day at 5 p.m., that can also be a great intermittent fasting regimen. So do what works for you. I hope this was insightful, and I hope that it encouraged you to go the more natural route if you have been considering Ozempic and things like that. I personally know people that have been considering it for weight loss, and I'm trying to tell them no, and I'm trying to have them go the natural route, because the side effects of Ozempic and similar drugs are life-altering. And so I think that if there's a natural way to do it, that's the best way without any of the side effects. So thanks for listening, guys. Love you. See you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To check out more shows by my team, go to wellnessloud.com, and to email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.
Are you looking to reclaim your health? Tune into the Real Foodology podcast, hosted by me, Courtney Swan, integrative nutritionist and real food activist. I am on a mission to transform our food system by challenging the corrupt practices that undermine our health and replace them with choices that genuinely support our well-being. Listen to Real Foodology podcast on your favorite podcast app. New episodes every Tuesday.